to my COVID friends. I have a couple of COVID friends out. So we're going to do 3 of these together. You guys ready? So Jason's taking out his headphones for me. Thank you so much. Okay, so we're starting on number 1. And on these problems, we're going to do the first one completely together. I'm going to need you to do 5 things for each problem. But you're going to see it goes pretty easy and it's not so bad. So let me write out for you the 5 things. You might want to write these things down next to your graph. The first thing that we're going to need, no matter what, when we do these, we need an endpoint, right? That's kind of the most important part of these. To be fair, on Friday, if you forget everything else and you get the endpoint and you sketch the drawing, you get half the points. That's really, it's really the most important part. So we're going to need an endpoint. The next thing we're going to need is a helping point. I'll be honest, in the beginning, this seems tricky. It gets easier by the end of the period. And also today, you're going to be like, Mrs. T, they always work this one way, and tomorrow they won't. So I'm setting the stage because tomorrow we're going to make these comments really shoot off into space. So right now they just kind of go, they just kind of lay over. But tomorrow they stretch out, and the helping point will help us. We're going to do domain, and it turns out when I show you, again, it's going to be super easy, and you're going to be like, oh, domain is easy. And then we're going to do range. And then obviously, the last thing that we need to do, or I actually do it third, we need to have a graph, right? Because that's the whole point of this. So this is what we're looking for, and this is what we're going to need to be able to do by Friday. So the first thing that we need to do is we need to look at our equation, and everything we need for the endpoint is in that equation without doing any work whatsoever. It's actually super, super easy. So we have 2 things happening. We have the guy in the square root, right? I think of him as your roommate in jail. He's obviously naughty because he's in jail. And we have people who are visiting you, right? Those 2 numbers are going to drive this train, right? They're going to decide everything that we have. So the first thing is to get our x value for our endpoint, we go to what's in jail next to the x. And I've got that +1. But remember, he's in jail. So how does he come out of jail? Negative. That's right, because he's naughty, right? So he's naughty. He's coming out as -1. And the people who visit you, like the -2, they're nice people. So they're not naughty. We're just going to take it, just like we did yesterday with the U graphs. It works the same way. If it's in jail or parentheses, it comes out naughty, opposite. If it's added or subtracted on, we just grab it. So the first thing I do is I put this on my graph, right? So -1, -2. -1, -2. That's my body of my comet, right? He's right there. So my comet's going to shoot off into space, but I need to know which direction to send him. And this is the part that's tricky, and probably it's tricky because I started with a bad number, but there you go. The deal is this. I know on these problems, because we talked about this yesterday, the comet is going to be going somewhere in this direction. So I'm not going to use over here for a helping point. I'm not going to use down here. I want to use something right in here. And the easiest thing to do is to go just 1 hop over. So watch what I'm going to say. I'm going to need to plug in a number for my x and y for my helping points. I'm going to take whatever I got for my starting point, my end point, I'm going to add 1 to it. So if I add 1 to that, I'm at 0. Does that make sense? If that had been 5, I would have made this 6. If this had been 3, I would have made this 4. And you're thinking, why are you doing that, Ms. T? And I'm going to tell you why. When we plug in over there, we have to get good numbers or we'll end up with decimals. We'll end up with square root of 3. And I don't know what the square root of 3 is. I don't want to graph that. What this does, this little trick, will always give us really nice numbers. As a matter of fact, it will always give us the number 1. So let's do the only math that we have to do right now. And here's what we're going to do. To get our y guy, we're going to plug this guy in right there. So we're going to say y equals, and some of you are going to say, Mrs. T, can I just kind of do that in my head? And I'm going to be like, yep, you can. I'm going to make that plus -2. That just makes me happy. 1 plus 0 is just the square root of 1 plus -2. And guess what? I love the square root of 1. Because what is the square root of 1? It's just 1. That's why I love it. Because it makes it really easy. So 1 plus -2 is going to give me -1. And that goes right here. Is everybody okay with that? Did I lose anybody there? And if I lost you for my friends at home, too bad. Okay, so let me get rid of this so it's out of the way. Okay, so here's what I know. I've got the starting point for my little comet was right here, right? It was at -1,2, right? And now here's my helping point, 0, -1. Hey, that makes sense, right? That's telling me which direction to shoot my comet off. Now I'm going to shoot him off. Pew! Remember, he's not a straight line. He's half of a U, right? So make him a little curvy, right? Because we want him to look pretty. Questions to there, yeah? I'll be honest, that's the hard part. The rest of it, super, super easy. So to get the domain, I'm going to show you the math part, but then I'm going to show you a really cool shortcut. The domain is this stuff, going this way. And it's super, super easy. All I do to get the domain is say to myself, hey, wait a second. Oh, wait a second, don't do that. I want this guy. I steal this guy, right? Because it's at -1 right there. And I'm going to say -1 is less than or equal to x is less than infinity. Because look, it's just going to go to infinity. And it's super easy. You just steal it from that guy. What I stole from that guy. Everything is steal. Huh? Oh, like this way?
Yeah.
I totally did that, I think, on your homework answers because I am lazy and I love it that way. Yes. Do you have to do both? No. But whichever makes more sense to you, you do you. Let's do the range. I'm stealing again. I got my little blue steely pen. It's this guy because look which way he goes. He goes this way, right? So the very, very lowest point that I can get to is -2 and then all the way up to infinity. And if you're like Aiden and I, and you're going to write it like this because you're a little bit lazy like we are, awesome. How was that? Does that seem crazy? It's not so bad today, yeah? Okay. I think you guys are ready to try one, are you? Here we go. Here we go. So let me write down the things that you need to find, okay? The trickiest part is going to be that helping point, but I'm going to help you with that. So if you get stuck on that, just wait a hot minute and I will help you with that. So here's what we need. We need an endpoint. I don't know why my E looks so awful. And we need an HP, which is a helping point. We need a domain. We need a range. And obviously, you need to graph your little comet. Look, I'm already even writing some stuff in. Okay, work together, give it a try. Start with your endpoint, right? Do a little bit of stealing. Come up here, steal some stuff. Steal stuff from this guy. Steal stuff from this guy. Remember, think about, are you in jail and naughty, or are you a friend visiting you? Yeah, instead of parking in that parking lot, And we're going to make it if you put the number in front. Yep, today he's got fucking Hey, so here we go. Thank you for the 4 people who are at home waiting while I come back to do this. Let's talk about this one. Let's see how we did. So the first thing I'm going to do, I am going to make a tiny pen. I always start off with my end point. Can anyone brave enough to give me the end point? Anyone feeling good about it? Okay, so let's go to Cecilia. 1, -3, so good. Cecilia, remember that -1 comes out opposite because it's in jail, and the -3 is just a person visiting. So I'm going to start by graphing that right away. 1, -3, right here. Boom, I got a nice comet body. I'm going to make it nice and big. Okay, so here's where it gets a little tricky. To get to your helping point, here's what I'm going to do. I want the next number closest. So if I was at 1, the number that's going to help me the most will be 2. Does that make sense? Because I'm just going to, I was right here. I want my helping point to be right around here somewhere. So I just hop over to the next number closest. Here's the easiest way to think about it, Aiden. Whatever this is, just add 1 to it. Okay, that'll give you and the reason that'll work, watch how nice it is. That's going to give us 1 in the square root sign again, and that's what we want, right? So watch what happens. Here we go. This is the only math we have to do. We're going to take that 2 and put it right there. So y equals 2 take away 1, which is 1 again. Yay! I keep getting 1. That's my goal because I am lazy. I don't want decimals. 1 take away 2, 3. I'm sorry.
What's the whole point of doing like what you're doing right now? Just if you know to just go up 1.
Oh, good question. That's an excellent question. I'm going to tell you the reason. Because tomorrow we won't go up just 1. We might go up 3 or 4 because we're going to stretch it out. It's super easy to do, but the helping point tells us how much to stretch it out. Does that make sense? So today you're totally right. Everyone, I had a lot of kids, and tonight on all of them, to be honest with you, you could just do that. Just you're up 1 over 1, right? But tomorrow we expand it. So I figure if I lay the foundation, we should be okay. So I got 2, -2. And again, Aiden makes a good point. You can kind of do that in your head tonight. Tomorrow, not so much, right? So here's my point right there. There's my helping point. Yay! He's spinning off like this. I think eventually he crosses the line. I just don't know where. Okay, I'm going to put on my domain and range. And here's where my stealing is. Be careful. Use that guy for the domain. And use, please, this guy for the range. How did we do? Are we okay? Can you wiggle your fingers if you feel like you're okay so far, so good? Yeah? Jackie, getting there? Yeah, okay. Last one that I'm going to do with you on these hard ones. Here's what. People look at this one, and Jason and I were talking, and he goes, do you have to do a bunch of weird stuff? On this one, no. And let me tell you what's happening there. You have the back parking lot where the visitors come. You have the front parking lot where the warden parks. You had someone, this -2, who came to visit you. And guess what? He's parked somewhere that I don't like. You can just acknowledge that and know that he's just a visitor, or you can do what I do, which is to say, dude, you can't park there. Park in the back. And then guess what? It's a totally normal problem. You're just rewriting it, right? Or you can say to yourself, oh, that guy, it's whatever added on. You like it added on the back because that's what we're used to, but it can be added on in the front, and that doesn't change the jail, right? So go ahead. This is the last one I want you to try on your own. The last 3 are super fast and easy. You'll be like, oh my God, I love those. So yes, I hear someone say Mrs. T. On Friday, a quest. It'll have all the square root stuff. Done? You're so fast. I'll have this graded tonight. Nice. I feel a little like I'm losing people, so I'm going to go ahead and do this one with you so we can get to the last three and I can let you practice on your own on the homework. So easy. My endpoint, yay, 3 comma negative 2. Yay! My helping point, now you guys are getting to be pros at this. I'm not going to plug in 3. I'm going to go up 1, which would be 4. And I come over here and I put in the 4 and look at that. It's square root of 1 again. Square root of 1, take away 2, gives me negative 1.
What? Oh.
You knew what you were doing. You're just testing me. I'm going to graph this baby. 3 negative 2. Oops, I did that wrong. Let me try that again. It's only with you guys when I'm taping. 3 negative 2 right here. And 4 negative 1. Oh, look, he's perfect. He's working just the way I wanted him to work. And I'm going to do the domain and range super fast. Domain I steal from that guy. Ooh, that's pretty. Is going to be, and I'm going to do it the Aiden way because I'm feeling like I want to rush a little bit. And to get the range, I'm stealing this guy. Awesome, Hannah. You're perfect. Yep. Talk to me. Always go up, right? So we're always going to go to the next closest number because it turns out that radicals go that way. So it will totally, and if it changes, like tomorrow we're going to throw a negative on there and it's going to flip it upside down, it'll do it automatically for you. So you'll just plug in 4 and it'll just flip it upside down. It's really kind of cool. That's why the helping point matters. Last part is the easiest. Guess what? Can we go backwards? It's so easy. We don't have to deal with domain. We don't have to do range. We don't have to do a helping point. All I'm saying is this. Here is my equation. I have this guy with someone in his jail cell with him and someone visiting. All you have to do is figure out who's in the jail cell and who is visiting. So here we go. Here's our guy. Here's our endpoint at 2, 0, right? So we're going to put this into our equation. You guys ready? Everybody ready? So the 2, this guy right here he is. Does he match up with the jail cell or does he match up with the visitors?
The
jail cell. When he goes into the jail cell, will he go in like a 2?
No,
or will he go in an opposite, negative 2? Awesome. So watch what? Negative 2. Yay. Here's something sad. Who is visiting you in jail? No one. You have no friends. You can put a 0 if you like. That is a perfectly fine answer. If you would like to make it look a little more sophisticated and do this, that would be awesome as well. That's why they're very fast. All you have to understand is that the endpoint tells you everything. It really does. It's the coolest thing. Nope. I just want to know, can you write me an equation? If I gave you that, could you write an equation? So I'd like you to try this one. Here is your endpoint right here. Boom. 0, 3. Look, I fixed that 3. Did you see how I did that? Think about who's in the jail cell with you and think about who is visiting you. I love these ones. These are my favorites. Sawyer, who's in the jail cell with you on this one? Here's our endpoint. Which one of these coordinates do I think about going into the square root? The x coordinate or the y coordinate? It would be x. So who's in the jail cell with you? 0. See, this is why we don't want to have our phone out. And who is added on? The 3. Are your visitors naughty? No, they're nice people. That's a perfectly fine answer. What's a prettier answer? Someone give me a prettier? Yeah, just write x. Square root of x plus 3, right? Just be careful, don't put the 3 underneath. Last one, best one, and then I am shutting up and giving you your homework. Can you do it when it's tricky? Can you do it when you got someone visiting you? And can you do it that way? You know, Sawyer, I'm going to you, so you might as well think about this one so you can read it out to me super fast. You do that. I would like you to do at least one of these before you leave, and maybe one on the back, so I know you got this. You got time in class. So are you ready to give me an answer? Man, you got this. Y equals the square root x plus 2. On fire.
That's what I got too.
Nice.